Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Yes, it is the weekend, which means this is the weekly recap of all the top stories conveniently located in one location. We hope you enjoy it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time on Crime Talk. Next on the docket, Alec Murdaugh was in court for the first time since his double murder conviction, and he is facing financial fraud-related charges in Beaufort County, South Carolina. Yes, I admit, I have a residence in Beaufort, South Carolina. I love it down there. Who would have thought there were such scandalous things going on down there? Well, anyway, this is for the case where Mr. Murdaugh allegedly stole millions of insurance payments intended for the family of his late housekeeper, who died from that mysterious slip and fall on his front porch. Well, Alec Murdaugh tried to skip the court appearance, but he was ordered to appear by Judge Clifton Newman, who also presided over his murder trial earlier in the year. Now, a trial date for the financial fraud case has been set for November 27th, which was against the defense team as they wanted to write it out as long as they can. But the judge set the date. And obviously, if it is going to be brought to us via television, like his original double homicide case was, that went just fine, except for allegedly the clerk tampering with the jury. It wasn't anybody else's fault, I guess. The irony of it all. Anyway, it just shows you that a trial can be broadcast and the proceedings still maintain their solemnity that needs to take place. And Mr. Murdaugh did not get the opportunity to wear a suit today. He got to wear the orange prison jumpsuit and was handcuffed the entire time. And shockingly, his family wasn't there in the courtroom today. All I want to know is how much longer is his attorneys going to be able to stay on without getting paid? We know they exhausted all the money that he got from his retirement savings account. Maybe his brothers are paying for it. I don't know. Why do the prosecutors in the Brian Kohberger case not want cameras in the courtroom? We know the defense attorneys don't want, cameras in the courtroom because it's going to affect Brian Kohberger's right to a fair trial. I'm not sure why that's going to happen because there's been lots of cases where they've been televised where the defendant has been found not guilty. Well, now the prosecutors, so now lawyers on both sides of the sometime upcoming trial of Brian Kohberger, don't want cameras in the courtroom, and the prosecutor actually wants the court to restrict those cameras. So as you may recall, back in late August, Brian Kohberger's defense team asked the judge to bar cameras from the courtroom, claiming that the coverage would violate his constitutional rights. Anyway, now the prosecuting attorney, Bill Thompson, has responded, and he is citing concerns about having media in the courtroom during the trial and requested the judge at least remove cameras during the testimony of a number of young and vulnerable witnesses. Now, some of these witnesses are more than likely include the two surviving Idaho housemates of the college students who lived with the three of the four victims who were brutally murdered back in November. In addition to, and at least partially as a result of the substantial traditional and social media coverage, certain witnesses have already been subjected to threats and harassment, including physical intrusion directed at not only the witnesses and other university co-eds, but their extended families, the prosecutor noted. Now, I find that hard to believe. These people are witnesses in a criminal case. It's not like it's some gang case where they're saying, you better not show up or if you know what's good for you and your family. Somehow I don't see that taking place. Calling me skeptical that witnesses that basically have been, for lack of a better term, not identified, at least in great amounts, are somehow being threatened. What are they being threatened to do? Don't show up? Brian Kohberger's innocent? Really? How about you tell the truth and the world gets to see the evidence presented? I've said this before, and I will say it again. I think all courtrooms should have cameras in them so the world can see what takes place in our judicial system. It will instill trust and confidence, and where it screws up, people will know that it's screwed up. Frankly, I think it makes people better attorneys when they are being televised because they know they're being televised, and they actually will do a better job. Or maybe things aren't exactly as they appear to be in the press, and maybe somebody doesn't want to see any weaknesses to their particular case. The prosecution, as a elected official, should say, come see what we do, come see how good we are, and hey, criminals, if you commit crimes in Idaho, you'll be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and that's it. It's a public courtroom. Let's keep it public. Next on the docket, that Pennsylvania escapee has been captured, that Daniello Cavoconte. Well, he's been subdued by canines, ending a 2-week-long manhunt. Now, Cavoconte was captured by police after he was subdued by the canines, ending this manhunt where, frankly, the police have looked a little silly. Well, officials then released a photo of the police dog that captured the killer, who was bitten and treated for his injury at the scene. Now, after a bloodied Cavoconte was captured, the SWAT officers in the team paraded him like a trophy and lined up for photos with him. Good for him. They were hunting him down. He's lucky he's not dead. Anyway, Cavoconte has broken into many suburban homes for food, changed his appearance, and fled under gunfire with a rifle that he stole from a home. Now, police have used as much as thermal imaging to try and pinpoint, and they did this from an aircraft to try and find his location, and they ultimately used police on the ground to capture Cavoconte. Now, the state police were seen posing with the native Brazilian after his capture. And, well, let's just put it this way. Mr. Cavoconte should prepare for a very unpleasant quality of life in prison where he will remain the rest of his days. When you escape, yes, you will be in maximum security for a long, long time. He's never going to have a time when he is not escorted or being watched by somebody. The father of the University of Idaho murder victim has claimed that there was evidence that his daughter tried to escape her murderer. Now, the families of the victims spoke with CBS News for a special on the murders that will be aired on Saturday. It comes just days after the sole suspect in the Moscow quadruple murder, Brian Kohberger, appeared in court for a hearing where the judge heard arguments on cameras in the courtroom, whether they should be there or not, or, I think as the judge has noted and the defense has noted, this is not entertainment. Anyway, the Gonsalves claim that there is evidence to show that their daughter awakened and tried to get out of the situation, but she was assaulted and stabbed. That's according to Stephen Gonsalves, and he is referring to his daughter, Kaylee Gonsalves. He believes that Kaylee was stuck between her friend's body and the wall before the attacker actually attacked her at that moment, citing the coroner's report for that belief. He says there's evidence to show that she was awakened and tried to get out of that situation, but she was assaulted and stabbed. The bed was up against the wall, the headboard was touching the wall, and the left side of the bed was touching the wall as well. And the family believes that Maddie was on the outside and Kaylee was on the inside, the way the bed was set up. She was trapped. Now, Kaylee's mother, Christy, said that she thinks the killer's plan went awry, adding that he intended to kill one, but wound up killing four that evening. Now, on Wednesday, both the defense and the prosecution have asked the court to restrict cameras in the trial of the 4 slain University of Idaho students. That hearing ended with no decision on the matter from the judge. Now, the Latah County District Court Judge John, said other trials with cameras have spun out of control and that what is happening is not entertainment, but a tragic issue. I so agree. But people have a right to know the type of people that are in their neighborhood. They have a right to see what kind of prosecution is going forward and what type of defense is going forward. It's called newsworthiness. And if that court can't maintain the solemnity of a courtroom, that's on the court, not the participants involved. Anyway, Mr. Kohberger, obviously he's the former PhD student, and he was obviously indicted for killing Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gonzalez, Zana Kernodle, and Etha Chapin. Now, they don't want any cameras in the courtroom. Well, that's Brian Kohberger and his attorneys, and the prosecutors being political and says, well, we believe we have to protect the First Amendment, but we really don't want it because there'd be some really bad things that people will hear. Like I said, I'm of the mindset that people should be able to hear the really bad things that goes on in their neighborhoods, because as somebody that's done this work for 28 years, I think if people had any idea what actually took place in the world, they would literally lock their doors, probably, I don't know, get up in the little fetal position, holding some sort of firearm of some type, and not come out again until morning. It is a dangerous world out there, ladies and gentlemen, and the people need to see and know what is taking place. And at least somebody wants cameras in the courtroom, and you didn't expect it from this guy. The accused Delphi killer, Richard Allen, wants cameras in the courtroom. Now, his attorneys filed a motion the other day in Carroll County there in Indiana, and his defense lawyers state that the Delphi accused murderer is seeking news cameras and public broadcasting inside the court for all pretrial and trial hearings. The facts and circumstances surrounding this case have attracted the attention of the public on a national level and even the attention of others around the globe, according to the motion. As a result of this attention, the system of jurisprudence in the state of Indiana will be scrutinized in a manner that is unusual and rare in any Indiana court. And a highly and effective way to do this is to proactively take steps to disseminate information in this high-profile, high-stakes case. This prevents interested individuals from having to search the internet for information about this case, which may come from biased sources that substitute commentary for real facts. Now, the attorneys also filed an amended motion to suppress evidence from the October 13th search of Mr. Allen's residence, arguing that the warrants made false and misleading representations, which was a reckless disregard for the truth, and therefore the warrant is not valid. Mr. Allen was taken into custody on October 28th of last year at his home in Delphi, Indiana, for the murders of Abigail Williams and Libby German. The victims were found murdered near the Monon High Bridge on February 14th of 2017 after taking an outing to the bridge the day prior. The outing was only meant for a few hours, and when the girls failed to return home, family members contacted the police. Now, this case has received worldwide attention, and Allen's legal team wants to ensure that the public will receive legitimate information as opposed to biased information, as the motion states. I couldn't agree more. Let's see it. Everybody acts like what goes on in court is so sensitive. You know what? If the camera's just recording, how is that affecting one's right to a fair trial? Oftentimes now, you can see via WebEx the court proceedings that are taking place. Is that affecting somebody's right to a fair trial? No. The court can set up the camera, say this is where it points, right to the witness stand. That's it. Boom. We just want the information. We want it directly from the courts. We don't want somebody's spin put on it. That's why we started this channel, to explain it, to say when there's spin or not.